Hi and hello, football fans. I hope all's well wherever you are. Welcome to the Dave Dameshek Football Program, presented on this day from UCI, LA Rams training camp. That's Eddie Spaghetti. Dave Dameshek here. We're presented by Amazon Prime Video, now streaming The Boys. It's a new take on the otherwise rote superhero genre. Check it out, Seth Rogen and company. Spaghetti's watched it. I haven't yet, but you like it, and that's a stamp of approval you can't ignore.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's a fun watch too. The minute you put it on, like with the first couple minutes, you're gonna be like, okay, now I need to see what happens next, and they kind of leave you wanting more and more and more. I'm actually sad it's only 8 episodes, but I think they are renewing it. But definitely worth the watch, and it's a very interesting original idea.
All right, Shades, we get it, we get it. All right, check it out. Do indeed. No, you're very California. Anyhow, coming up. Speaking of California, used to be a Californian. He used to toil for the San Diego Chargers. Then he went up Baltimore way and played for the Ravens for the last few years. Now he's back in Southern California. Eric Weddle coming up, as is the guy, one of the great thrills, one of the 3 greatest thrills, I think, whether that seems weird or not, for me of the last 10 years or so, was getting in touch with one Wade Phillips to encourage him to dress like his old man on an NFL sideline one day. Of course, Bum Phillips used to wear that big white 10-gallon hat and the Western shirts and the cowboy boots on an NFL sideline. He was the head coach. It was the greatest, so I encouraged Wade to do that. He couldn't do it because of the rules, but then he did follow through with it at media night before the Super Bowl last year, so looking forward to catching up with him, not just about the 2019 Rams, but about some long-standing history I'd like to resolve, a story in particular that Mean Joe Green told me. I also want to hear about some of his trials and travails through the NFL as a head coach and otherwise. So that is coming up in just a second. Quickly, Eddie Spaghetti, let's go through. Help me remember, we just saw our pal Mina Kimes.
Correct.
Pro football, I guess, sports media superstar.
Yeah, and a great Twitter user. I think she's in the class of you and a few others that I think are
Oh,
very,
really?
very
In the
good
class
Twitter.
of me?
Yeah, and the great Twitter users, and she will be on the show soon, so we'll tease that. But, yeah, we saw her here, Jay Glazer. We saw
Jay Glazer.
Guys from Ballers on HBO, the show with The Rock.
Glazer's the hero to so many professional athletes. They love to fly out to Arizona to hang out with them and work out with
MMA
them.
training
Yeah,
and
right.
stuff.
So we saw him. We saw the greatest, the most athletic punter in the history of punters, Johnny Hecker. Man, statuesque fella carrying his little kid couldn't have been a year old. Saw him walking around, greeted him. J.B. Long, the radio voice of the Rams, alongside Maurice Jones-Drew. Nice to catch up with our guy JB. We'll get him on the show along with Maurice in front of the season, like we say, Mina Kimes. Gerald Everett, the man infamous on the DDFP, because when we were at the LA Coliseum last year, when he scored the game-winning touchdown against the Chiefs in that all-time great regular season game, we were in the end zone, and I tried to high-five him, and he left me hanging, and I felt shame on a national level. And from now till the end of time, he must now high-five me every time he sees me, and he followed through.
He did. He came through, and it's so funny, too, about that clip, because that touchdown is shown so many times now since that game happened. I see it all the time, and you always know when it's coming up because the yellow, like, juxtaposed to the red, it's like the easiest game to like, oh, that's us, and then you wait for the corner of the end zone, and then you see you standing there, and then he just goes by. We
saw Todd Gurley go by in his street clothes.
Yeah.
We saw Jared Goff, who I gave a bowling ball to at NFL Honors on the red carpet a couple years ago. I asked him if my dreams of him being a 2-sport athlete have come to fruition. He said plainly no, and that was the end of that. So, good day out here at Rams camp in Irvine, California, at UCI. Let's get to it then, shall we?
Sounds good.
Let's go and talk. Oh, before we get to it, let me tell you what we have coming up here. It's not just from Rams camp. No, this is just our home base for this episode of the DDFP. We're gonna hear about Bum Phillips and the Houston Oilers way back in 1979. Stick around, kids. It's good stuff there. Also, we'll talk to Eric Weddle, like I say, coming up here. We talked with Cole Wright. We did a little exercise, all NFC, and we've done it since with the AFC too. If you could take one player from a franchise's history and plug them in to the 2019 roster, who would it be? We did that with the Dallas Cowboys with our pal Cole Wright. That's coming up. Andrew Hawkins weighed in on the rising force that is Baker Mayfield. Just talked with Mina Kimes, like we say. She's all in on what he's capable of doing. It seems like everybody who focuses in and eliminates all the outside jazz and just watches Baker Mayfield on the gridiron is unanimous that big things are coming for Baker. They already started in 2018, so we dig in on that. Aaron Donald, in a world of hyperbole, really a guy who's lining up to go down as one of the great defensive players of all time. So we'll get some thoughts from Wade and or Weddle on that. But let's start it off with the new safety, fresh off toiling for the Baltimore Ravens. Now the Rams, is he the missing piece? I don't know. Let's ask Eric Weddle. Hey, Eric Weddle, nice to see you. This is a professional outfit, though. No shoes?
Gotta let the dogs breathe.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Hey, before we get going, my son has a basketball game going in just like a half hour. Would you wish him good luck in it?
Jack, what's up, man? Good luck in your game. Drop 40 on him, please.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good idea. It always seems to me that heavy beard must be an extra weight, literally and figuratively, on you. Doesn't it get all sweaty and hard to play in and itchy as a distraction and all that?
Not at all. Not at all. Brings me extra powers.
You've been known since back in the Utah days as a leader. That's how I know.
I'm not very good. I just lead, right?
As a fashionista, clearly, with your hairstyle and the beard and the shoelessness and all that. Best Rams getup.
I like the old school blue and yellow. That's one of the all-time best jerseys, so I can't wait to put that on.
Eric Weddle, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, one of the great athletic specimens, well as a dynamite leader.
I'm sure. Keep going. I want to hear it.
I mean, well, what needs to be said beyond that? You know, a winner at every stop, handsome is all get out.
Come on. Think of some more.
Well-read? I don't know.
Articulate? Yeah. Loves to read? Yeah.
Articulate, always a backhanded compliment, but you're that too. Anyway, listen, Eric Weddle, stay healthy this year.
Appreciate
have fun
it.
this year, and hope we'll see you at a Super Bowl.
No doubt, man.
Go get him, pal.
Yeah.
I like him. I don't know. Like I felt. Did you sense tension?
He is just an intense guy. And he has
fresh off a football field,
right? And he has a chip on his shoulder. He's just a guy that he's bounced around from team to team. I think he wants the recognition of being he's had a really good long career, and I think he wants to understand that. Also, side note, doesn't get talked about in terms of being good looking player.
Oh,
he's
handsome devil,
super good looking guy.
Handsome
yeah,
devil,
it really is.
Even despite the mohawk.
I like the mohawk. I've had a mohawk.
Have you really?
I have, yeah.
Would you do it again to celebrate the 2019 season?
For sure, I would do it. But people in my life would not be happy with that. So.
See, that sounded like you were going to do it, and then you backed off. It doesn't matter.
I'll do it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Eddie Spaghetti, soon to be wearing a mohawk. In the meantime, let's get to Cole Wright and hear who he thinks, if the Cowboys could have anybody from their glorious history on the 2019 roster, who it would be. I want us to plug in one player from history that will make that team better. And beginner level stuff is to plug in a Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if we're talking Miami Dolphins, Dan Marino is an easy answer. Sure. And if you're talking about the 2019 Broncos or any edition of the Broncos, John Elway is an easy answer. Hall of Fame guys are easy to throw out. So we can do that, but then let's raise the standard. Non-Hall of Famer, but they must have been in the organization at some point. Let's start with the aforementioned America's team there, the Dallas Cowboys. Cole Wright, who would be a great add to that team? I mean, well, without Zeke Elliott, the easy one is Tony Dorsett.
Yeah. I mean, Emmitt Smith would be the layup, obviously. That's
well, Tony Dorsett was better than Emmitt Smith, but okay, I hear you.
This topic is going to go on a tangent now.
Okay. But you have allotted 15 minutes for
I knew it was going to come up. So.
Okay, that's fine. But I mean, that's empirically true. You watched them both play, didn't you?
Okay.
TD is a superior back overall, but okay. I mean, there's something to the banging style of Emmitt that would suit this team.
Maybe we see him on Sundays, man. He's calling games. He's a dapper guy. Maybe a little Moose Johnson accent.
Moose Johnson.
I don't know, man.
I don't think he's in the Hall, but okay.
No,
I like you here.
That's the one that's not in the Hall. You don't have to be a Hall of Fame.
That's interesting.
Player.
I mean, the guy that would make him dance. Well, first of all, Michael Irvin. I don't say him just as
Harper.
Alvin Harper. Well, okay. So now you're doing the non-Hall of Fame.
Yeah, why not?
Michael Irvin would make that offense sing if you had Amari Cooper.
You think?
And then you had the
how about T.O.?
Yeah.
T.O. is a fun name to throw out there. How about you know what?
He's going to be working out in his front yard. Maybe he's going to be doing some squats and push-ups, sit-ups,
How
and
can
jump
we have
rope.
this conversation? I like Dak better than I think the
Romo?
collective kind of ranks him, but Romo, I would say Roger Staubach.
Oh,
or how about Troy Aikman, for that matter? But I like Roger Staubach being pulled from the late 70s and bringing him into the modern day. He would thrive in the game today with his ability to move around.
Absolutely.
All right, fun stuff there with Cole. Always appreciate him jumping into Studio 66. And now his virgin run in Studio 66. He played for the Patriots, the Bengals, the Browns. He's 5'7".
Yeah,
he makes Maurice Jones-Drew look statuesque.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew's in good shape.
Yeah,
though.
So I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Is that a shot at somebody?
No, it's not.
Careful there. You're a fat yourself.
I know. And yeah, I'm not gonna talk more about it.
Okay, let's not talk about that. Let's instead hear Andrew Hawkins, Hawk, new to the NFL media, weigh in on a guy who he sees something really special in, Baker Mayfield. I want to talk about the NFL Top 100 that's going on NFL Network right now. Be on the lookout on social media. I'm doing some stuff with NFL Films, kind of reacting to some of the names I see out there. Let's turn it into a little Jenga theory kind of conversation here. 49 and 50. It's Myles Garrett at 49, Baker Mayfield at number 50. Reminder to all the people who are saying, what kind of list could this be? Baker Mayfield barely played, and yes, it's based on last season's deeds going into this year. This is prognosticating by NFL football players as they vote on these things, and kind of put them up there. First of all, something that will always fascinate me, and if they win a Super Bowl, then no one will ever care about what might have been, but I love to play what if with stuff. What if those Cleveland Browns in 2018, spring of 2018, had gone Saquon and Sam Darnold? Then what? Versus going Denzel Ward and Baker.
I'm a big Saquon fan. I was all for getting Saquon.
Or whatever quarterback's even there. I don't even know that Sam Darnold would have fallen given that.
I was all in on Saquon. I felt like he was a can't-miss prospect, and he was, and he is, and he's going to be incredible for the Giants. Baker is franchise-changing to this point. The only reservations I would have, if any, and they're small with Baker, are things that have nothing to do with the football field. Because when you watch him in NFL football, he just has such a feel for offense, defense, where people are, how to throw passes in there. He's incredibly accurate. He just understands it. Whether he knows an offense or not, he can say hut. And when everyone moves, he knows what their responsibilities are. He just understands the game of football, and that is rare even for the quarterback position. I don't have that same feeling with Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold has all the tangibles. He's the right height, the right arm strength. I think he's incredibly skilled. But when I watch him out there, I don't feel like he knows football more than the other 21 guys. With Baker, that's how you feel.
It's the crazy accuracy is something that immediately jumps out when you start looking at him. I think unless the collective scouting community was wrong, which they rarely are. I mean, some guys are in on a guy and other, but everybody was in on Sam Darnold last year. Yeah. Maybe Maurice Jones-Drew being the one big exception that I can think of who said, threw a lot of picks in high school, threw a lot of picks in college. Why that would change in the NFL, I have no idea. Yeah. So we'll see about that bit of skepticism. But I'm interested in Baker Mayfield at 50 and Jared Goff at 32, based on what I said, that this is not just about last season's deeds, but also going into this season. I don't think anybody, including Sean McVay, at this point, and maybe I'm getting a little crazy about Baker Mayfield.
I was going to say, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, Dave. I like it.
I'd like Baker over Jared Goff, right?
Yeah, I mean, even beyond Baker, I think Jared Goff is talented, right? I think he has a lot of the tangibles as well. I think he's still developing and maturing into a really, really good quarterback. He's in a great system that helps. But I don't think he should be there. There's a lot of quarterbacks behind him that I would probably take over Jared Goff.
I don't think he's incompetent or anything like that.
No,
obviously, he's been great.
Not in the least bit.
But I think he's got his flaws, and glass half full or glass half empty, Hawk, going into the 2019 season, I feel like the Rams are going to regress a little bit. The interior of that offensive line, not as strong as what it was. Todd Gurley, at best, a question mark with the knee. Now they get a nice kid coming out of school to perhaps replace him. But nevertheless, that offense figures to did Bill Belichick, and before that, Matt Patricia, because a lot of what Flores and Belichick did in that Super Bowl was predicated on what Matt Patricia's Detroit Lions did with him. Plus, throw in Jared Goff out in the cold in Chicago with that pass rush. He really looked like a Southern California kid in a bad spot there. Glass half full or glass half empty on the Rams offense in 2019? Did something get figured out? Or was that just a bump in the road and they continue to ascend?
I think it's a collection of both. I think I'm a very big Sean McVay fan for the same reasons I'm a Bill Belichick fan. I think he has a above average ability to figure things out, right? So he's just not someone I'm willing to say, oh, their offense won't be the same, because he's innovative enough. He studies it. He can't be 33 years old, have the success he's had at the levels he's had without putting a little extra time in, just understanding it at a different level. So I'm going to err on the side of glass half full, because no matter the same situations we are foreseeing, he's not a kind of guy to be like, oh, this is going to sneak up on me. He's seen them too. He's probably seen them long before we did, and he spent his whole offseason figuring out how he's going to combat those.
I think the Niners are going to win that division. I keep saying it. That defense.
I'm a Shanahan fan. I'm all in.
Boy, that defense is going to be rugged.
That.
Right?
Like that.
How good is that defense going to be?
Top notch, man.
Nick Bosa is going to be the least of any team's worries out there. D Ford on the other side, what they already have on that front.
Pivotal year for the 49ers.
That's right. And again, talk about unless everybody was wrong. Everybody said Sam Darnold was the best QB. So unless everybody was wrong about that. And the other, Kyle Shanahan 2 years ago was like, oh, Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, they're the two greatest offensive minds going in pro football. Was everybody wrong about that? No, they've just been derailed by injury and roster building, and now it's time for them to be nice and ripe in 2019.
I like it.
When I look at the Browns, as a Steelers fan, obviously I want the Steelers to win the division, but it's hard for me to conceive of how the Browns aren't at least don't wind up with more wins than losses. I mean, obviously, the major asterisk that always exists in football, barring major injury, but they're loaded. How could they not be a relative success? Even if it's 9 wins, I refuse to believe that they're a team that's like, well, the Browns, they fooled us again. They're bad. They stink. Like, no, there's no way that could be true.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think 9 wins. And I don't know but I don't think with all the hype that 9 wins is a success.
No.
Unfortunately,
guess that would be right, yeah.
And I think of the division, I think it's the most intriguing division to watch, maybe outside of the AFC South, which I think has 4 potential playoff teams, quality teams. But I think 9-7 Ravens, 9-7 Browns, 10-6 Steelers.
Oh, okay. I like where your head's at on that one. Let's talk about the 1979 season. It included the AFC Central before it was the AFC North. The Central had the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals. There was no Baltimore Ravens because they had yet to move from Cleveland. And there was a team called the Houston Oilers. A defensive coach working under the legend, Bum Phillips, was a guy named Wade Phillips. Here are his recollections from the 1979 season in a great rivalry, a little too oft forgotten here in the 21st century, but the Houston Oilers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know that I've looked forward to a conversation more than this one. It's been 2 years, I think, in the making. It's defensive coordinator extraordinaire and delightful human being to boot, Wade Phillips. How are you, sir? Nice to see you.
I'm doing great, and I'm looking forward to this, too. You're a delightful guy, too. I love your stuff.
Oh, well, thank you. That's too kind. And, of course, you and I met over social media because I was watching an old game as a nerd, watching a game on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever. It was the AFC title game from 1979, Oilers and Steelers. And there appeared Wade Phillips, and I love as much as any character in pro football history, your father, Bum Phillips.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
And I grew up a Steelers fan, but could admire a man in a 10-gallon hat. And I floated the idea to you, why don't you do that at some point on a sideline? And you did it on media night before the Super Bowl last February.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was a way to honor my dad, and that was really special. And I'm glad you thought of it, and I'm glad I did it.
Well, I want to get to it before we talk about anything else, because it's something that Mean Joe Green, name drop, told me a couple of years ago. I was talking to him about the 1979 season, the Steelers at the tail end of their prime as a dynasty, and probably the second best team in all of football, your Houston Oilers,
right.
Your father's Houston Oilers, and the Chargers above both those teams maybe in 79.
Yep.
And I was talking to Mean Joe about how fearsome that offense was, and he said, let me tell you, they whipped us in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
Towards the end of the season, really beat us up in a way that we had not been beaten in half dozen years. And I was so afraid of seeing them again in the title game that when the Oilers went out to San Diego to play them in the divisional round without Dan Pastorini, without Earl Campbell, without Ken Burrow, your three best offensive players, I called up Bum Phillips and I told him a tell that I had picked up from Dan Fouts in that game, and to look out for it. It might be enough to help you survive that game out against the mighty Chargers. Any recollection of that? Did your father?
We knew that Fouts, when he stayed in a square stance, it was a run, and when he staggered his stance, it was a pass. But after the game, I asked one of our defensive linemen. We won the game. I asked him if that helped him. He said, "Hell no, Coach." He said it was a pass every down anyway.
That is basically the way those Chargers played it, and one of the great upsets, and then you almost just about pulled off the game. Just to settle old business, you agree with the call on the field, right? We didn't need any instant replay on, Mike Renfro, right?
Yeah, I think people I think they've seen the replay of me in the press box saying, "You son of a gun."
Oh, that's actually on video?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you look it up, it's on video.
What would have happened if you guys beat the Steelers there? Do you make quick work of the team whose logo you're wearing on your hat?
Well, San Diego actually had beaten the Rams and Pittsburgh that year pretty handily. So, like you said, our upset of San Diego was really a big deal. We had a great rivalry with Pittsburgh, but it was a friendly rivalry. The first year they won the Super Bowl, we knocked Cincinnati out of the playoffs and put them in by beating Cincinnati the last game of the year. And so they were doing commercials for Samsonite, so they sent everybody on our team Samsonite briefcases. And so it was kind of friendly rivalry after that. And then Bradshaw and my dad brought Bradshaw a pair of boots before one of the games. I mean, it was an amazing rivalry.
What a nice fella, nice man, Wade Phillips is. All right, let's bring it on home now. Everybody sings songs about Aaron Donald. To me, I think he's probably, impactful. Obviously, it's a quarterback league, so it would be hard to say Aaron Donald is more important. But I don't know if there's anybody more dominant at what he does in pro football than Aaron Donald. And, on NFL Network, I hope you've been watching the last many days here. The top 100 has been unfurled. And so with some thoughts on where Aaron Donald belongs, maybe not just even on that list, but where he belongs in the history of defensive linemen, let's hear a little bit more about number 99. Is it weird seeing Aaron Donald out on the practice field here in preseason? I haven't seen that in a number of years.
No, we hadn't had him since I've been here. So this is the third year I've been here, and finally he's out here. So, you can't put him out there too much because he messes up the offense. So.
I imagine it does. And hyperbole aside, he has really emerged now. It's pretty clear that he's the best defensive player in football at minimum. Perhaps would you call him the best football player, period?
Oh, I think a lot of people would say that. I think he disrupts games defensively, obviously, more than anybody. 2 years in a row. So, He's proven himself that way. It's hard to say. Tom Brady keeps winning Super Bowls though, so I mean, everybody looks at offense, but I'm partial to a defensive player.
Do you think? Let's see how high up we can get Aaron Donald up the defensive tackle mountain. Super Bowl era players. Let's start here. Warren Sapp, one of the greats. Who do you take head to head there?
Well,
let's see if we can take one step. Can we step? Can we go up over that?
Warren Sapp? I'm going to take Aaron, but Sapp was a great player. Now he's a Hall of Fame player. So you're talking about Hall of Fame players.
How about do you put?
Because I don't think there's many players. If maybe Aaron and J.J. Watt that have back-to-back defensive player of the year. So that's pretty remarkable.
Would you go? All right. So now
his career isn't over either.
Well, absolutely right. I mean, yeah.
I'm projecting.
We go. So Donald, with all due respect to Sapp, Randy White. Do we take Aaron Donald over Randy White? I'm just trying to evaluate. He's up there.
I'm going to take all my guys. I had Reggie White and Bruce Smith too, and I'd take those guys. So.
Aaron Donald, obviously, it's not hyperbolic to say that he's one of the great guys to ever play defensive tackle in the NFL. Yeah. From what you can say, from what you've seen, you've been around now, you've seen Tom Brady and everything. Is this the best player in the 21st century period, regardless of position? Are you able to evaluate that sort of thing?
I don't know. That's always a toss-up. Defensively, what he's done over the course of his career speaks for itself. Back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year. What he does on a play-to-play basis is unheard of. So, I'm just glad I'm on the same team with him. And seeing him work, the professionalism, his work ethic, how he is as a person and teammate, it's beyond the expectations that I ever imagined. So it's been a joy to come to work every day and get to know him on a personal level and share the field with him.
All right, that's it. That's it from Rams camp. I think we've said it all. Maybe more than enough.
Yeah, it was a great day here. Great week.
You got sunburned.
I'm so red right now. I could feel it. When you squish your face and you can feel the tightness of the skin.
Yeah.
My fair Irish skin, that hurts. I think I'm going to be red tomorrow.
Well, on the plus side for everybody who was out here at camp this afternoon, at least you didn't lose the shirt, because then that would have been much worse.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to pop the top when we're doing work stuff.
Don't
here.
pop the top. No, that wouldn't be cool. Eric Weddle's shoelessness was more than enough on that front. All right, so for Eddie Spaghetti, soon to be mohawked. We'll see him very soon. We thank Amazon Prime and for allowing us to be out here at Rams camp, and we'll be back with more Hooey and Applesauce next week. Until then, thanks so much, football fans. It's been a thin slice of heaven. I wish we had a razor right now. Cut that hair.